Hey, what's up, everybody? Bringing you another review. This time it's of the Storm Collectibles 112 scale. I don't even think they say it 112 scale anymore. But it's the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter 5 Gouki, aka Akuma. So let's get started. I know a lot of you guys didn't care for Lion Mane Akuma. Look, personally, I'm against it too. But functionality wise, Storm fucking nailed this. And I mean it. Like, it's not even one of those things where it's like, oh, not being biased. This is me saying I was not looking forward to this. And now that I have it in hand, I was wrong. I'm going to admit to that. It's one of those things where I thought it was going to function and have its issues like the older figures, but that's not the case. They really went all out and did some changes to it, and I'm going to talk about that. So we already know with Ryu, there was like sticky joint things, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually having that exact effect. Nah, not exact, I'm sorry. The exact opposite going on with Akuma, and I want to address those. The body is just looks proportionally better. He's bigger. He's more intimidating. Everything. If you get past the whole lion head thing and you really sit down and like look at this figure, it's fucking great. It is sculpted and looks exactly like the way it should, and it's not just the whole lion head thing. When you look past it, it is Akuma in its purest, craziest form. And to talk about it, I know people will disagree, and that's fine. But this is dope. It came out much better than I thought it was going to the point where I'm actually just I'm stunned at how good it came out, and he's actually bigger, so I'm having some issues with even placing him well. But yeah, just automatically great. Now, body-wise proportions, we're gonna get into that. There's some new things that they did, which it's just let's just get into it. So as you can see, functionality. There's the butterfly shoulder joint. You have that, so you can do this. You can look cool. Now, you would think that with the hair, it would lose its articulation. That's actually not the case here because the hair is soft. That's the biggest thing that I was worried about. Akuma has ab crunch. The beads are soft and it's on a stretchy piece of string. Now, this might be the only downside because if this pops, you'd be crazy annoyed with losing those or those beads popping. So that would be one thing that you would look out for that would absolutely annoy that living hell out of you. But the hair literally isn't an issue. It's one of those things where I sat here and I was like, wow, like this is going to be a thing. But the only drawback so far that I'm having is literally the same leg issue that I always have of stretching out a leg too far and having to pop it back in. That's pretty much the only thing I'm facing right now as far as going, oh, something's wrong with my figure. That is an issue that I constantly face. I pop a joint too far because I go too far testing my figures. I make sure to go out of my way to test my figures because I want to know what they can do. I want to take them to the limit. Now, I'm going to constantly be adjusting because Akuma is a little bit for me to adjust to. But now, as far as articulation goes, he has the ab crunch. He can look forward. He can look down. And as you can see here, he just looks really cool doing a pose like this. The double jointed joints are there, but the problem is his muscle mass gets in the way. All issues that we've faced before with Ryu and Ken, so it's not something that we didn't know or didn't expect. But as far as actually just looking intimidating and cool, this figure actually nails it. The gi is actually soft, which is really cool. The rope has a little swivel joint, so you can go left and right. The legs actually might be the only downfall on this figure that I can actually say that I thought would be done better. Like with Ryu, this is as far as they go. That's as far as you're getting, but you can still do his version of the Tatsumaki Simple Kyaku. Which I believe is Zenku version or the Hado version. But either way, you have the ability to do it, get the poses on. He stands very intimidatingly. He rotates. Now, the thing is, though, now with the hair, the way you actually do this is you pull the face from the mane. And I'm calling it a mane because it's definitely a lion's mane. You pull it from here. What happens is that you get the head. You can actually remove the hair as well because it has different forms of the hair, and pull the mane from it. And as you can see, this would be the bare head. So there's a lot to go on by that, and I know that's a lot for people. But Akuma actually comes with a yelling head and a grizzly, I don't even know what to call it, but it's ridiculously intimidating. But it's grit teeth face. Let's get some light over this. They're two excellent heads. Now, I guess the face I want to keep on will be the grit one. What you're going to do is you're going to place it through. Make sure it lines up, because that's going to be an issue if it doesn't. Fits in the mane just fine. And then you're going to Make sure they line up with the 2 pieces there. Push in. And just like that, you can swap heads really, really well and do what you got to do. Now, he also comes with a ton of hands. I'm going to get to that right now. Because actually, he has a really nice feature that I really want to go over. And I'm actually quite excited for it. As you know, he has Hado hands. These are actually really cool Hado hands, which he also uses to do certain poses. Actually, these are 2 different sets of the right Hado. One is for martial arts, which is this one. One is for Hadoken. Then, I did that out of order, so please excuse me. Again, martial arts and Hado hand. And then you have his hands where he chops you, which we all know he does a lot of that, because when he does that overhead chop, you know, you crouch down, he catches you with it, cancel breaks. Then you have his Metsu Hadouken, which is actually really, really nice. It's a translucent purple. It looks really great under light. And I'm excited because this is a really nice fireball. And again, I'm a big fan of Storm doing the soft plastic at the end, hard plastic here up front. It's one of those things where you can actually, has some weight to it too. So this is actually really nice. There is a point where you can put it on a stand, and I'm looking for it because I lost it. But there is a port piece. There it is. So there's a port piece as well. It fits on SHF stands, it fits on Figma stands, it also will fit on your Storm Collectible stand. Turns out they actually give you a special one for Akuma, which I'm actually going to go over. They give you a special stand for your Hado. Then, when you also do the Hado, you get pieces for the Metsu Shoryuken and the Metsu Hado when you do the hard punch, or I guess the EX version of it. What you do is you take off the rope part, you take off the hand, you slide it right up. Make sure it goes all the way through, because it's going to end up on the forearm. And then you put the rope one back on. Once you do that, you make sure a rope piece doesn't line up in a certain part. I'm going to just put this hand on randomly. And voila. Now you have the Metsu piece. Fits on really well. You can do it when you're about to do the Raging Demon. When just really cool stuff in general. Let me put that back up. Now, one really cool feature of this that I want to talk about, besides the whole stand thing and stuff like that. Now, oh, by the way, you can actually take off his sandals too. So if you wanted Akuma to be barefoot, it's totally possible. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you can't be barefoot and it's attached to the foot. You don't have to worry about Akuma having really trash flip-flops. I'm going to move all the stuff out of the way because I want to go over something that's really cool. Now, they actually give you an extra gi. And this is for when you do the Raging Demon and you give somebody to catch those hands. It is a task to do it on camera, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want to make sure I show people. I usually take the head off. You don't have to follow my lead with this, but I take the head off so I know what the hell I'm doing. What you do is you start by popping off the gi gently. You're going to pop off the gi, his rope. And there's going to be this middle piece, which you're going to take off layer by layer. Actually, and it's going to be, you have to be quite careful. And the reason why I say careful is because you don't want to rip it. You don't want to rip or stretch out your plastic. Rope comes right off. What you do is, and you just, like I said, layer by layer, you take it off. And it's really cool to be able to see that Akuma actually has a body that you can use under it. So if you want him to be topless or you wanted to take off his beads, it's actually quite possible to do so. So Storm actually thought this one out. When I tell you they actually went out of their way to kind of redo this one, they really did. It's just overall different from the Ryu. It's almost like they took the old body and parts of the hot Ryu body and decided to combine it. And here's where it's going to get a little tricky. You're going to take the part from the old gi and pluck it right out. And you're going to put it on the new gi. You're going to start with the right side first. Pluck it through. I know a lot of you guys are going to skip this part and then ask a question about it, but that's all good. I'm going to leave the beads on because they give you the space to leave for the beads. Again. The gi comes right on. As you can see, like I said, they left a spot straight up for the beads. What you want to do is you want to hold the back so that way it stays extended. Push against the chest or the ab section so it pushes through. You don't have to do any of the work. It's all done for you as it pushes through the slot. And I'm already messing up on my own advice. Voila. As you can see, it fits through. Then the rope, you have it come back around. And I'm going to do all this on camera, and I'm never going to probably change it again. I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that I changed it, because it's not like it's a task, but it's a task, if you know what I mean. Also, I get quite lazy after doing stuff like this. I don't know why. So as you can see, it fits right back on. Put the front piece back on. And voila, you still have it. Now you have Akuma. Now what you want to do is with the ball joint. Here's where it gets a little tricky, because it doesn't look like the ball joint actually fits up top. It does. Just make sure you press straight and directly down. Otherwise, your head will not line up correctly. So make sure the mane look like it's sitting straight. And you'll hear the connection of the ball joint. And it'll stay in. You'll know it's in because it'll stay in. Now, as far as posing goes, Akuma actually poses really well. Like I said, the hair doesn't get in the way. He is steady. He is stable. He always looks intimidating. I'm really enjoying the lion mane Akuma way more than I thought I was going to. It's just really nice overall. If you were going to pass on this, get the SHF one. That's totally fine. But if you want it to be definitely Street Fighter V accurate, this is definitely the go-to for accuracy. Now, I'm going to do a quick size comparison so you guys don't have to flip through the video anymore, because I know you want to just know the size comparison. So let's get to it. I'm going to straight up back up a little, because he, like I said, he's bigger than the other characters. And then we're going to go over what he looks like. This is him next to Ken and Ryu. Going to make sure you guys see that first, because that's what you guys want to know. My Chun-Li still has not been repaired yet, so you'll have to excuse me on that one, so she won't get compared in this. But this is him next to Ryu and Ken. As you can see, even with the lion mane, he kind of towers over them with zero issues. So then you're going to have him next to Vega and Zangief, which he actually looks like he's taller than Vega, but he's not. And as Zangief goes, no one beats Zangief, but you just want to see what it looks like in comparison, because no one beats the Red Cyclone. So voila, you got those guys there. Then next up, you're going to see him next to other scales, stuff like Marvel Legends. Here we have Sam Wilson. Here we have a Mezco. Then you have him next to an SHF Skull. There's no comparison, obviously. Here he is next to Deku, which he skyrocket and towers over. Then you're going to have Jon Stewart and an AI Ninja. Again, just no comparison whatsoever. He towers over them. He is completely and utterly a force of nature. But he looks really cool doing it. So I'm a big fan of that. Man. Like I said, I was wrong about this Akuma. I really thought it was going to be those things where I was worried about the head, but they went out of the way to make sure that was not the issue here. So, looking forward to taking some pictures of them. In the meantime, guys, drink your water, be good, do good, stay out of trouble, man. Later.